In today's video, I'm answering 5 questions regarding safety when traveling solo, and I'm going to give you my top answers for how I deal with those concerns. I'm going to start with the first safety travel question that is on most people's minds, and that is, how do I avoid becoming a victim of crime when I'm on my trip? Now, I've been a solo traveler for years, and this is always a concern of mine, and rightfully so. In fact, before my last month-long trip, I was talking to my mom about it and how excited I was. And the first thing that she said to me was, "Aren't you afraid?" And I think a lot of people go there as their first reaction when planning a solo trip or thinking about a solo trip. It's the fears that pop into our mind. So I'm here to tell you a little advanced preparation can give you peace of mind, knowing that you've done everything you can to protect yourself, just like you would if you were traveling with a companion. Embracing adventure instead of fear brings so many rewards. So let's tackle those fears head on. Here are some steps you can take to avoid becoming a victim of crime when you're traveling solo. First and foremost, do your best to not appear to be traveling alone. And I realize this is a difficult one because on my most recent trip, as I was wandering around, I could quickly spot the other solo travelers, and I'm sure they could spot me. So you need to do things that are going to lessen your risk of becoming a target. Start with the obvious ones, which is don't tell anyone that you're traveling alone. It's always a good idea if someone asks you if you are to just say that your companion is taking a nap at the hotel or make up a story. You can also wear a ring on your wedding finger. You can purchase a simple, inexpensive band on Amazon, and I've linked one below for you that I use when I'm traveling. You can avoid getting targeted by pickpockets by wearing a money belt, and keep some cash and a spare credit card in this money belt so it's on your person in case your backpack or your purse gets snatched. And speaking of your backpack or purse, I always carry an anti-theft bag with me. My bag has interlocking zippers and slash-proof straps. Don't underestimate how powerful this is in protecting your belongings. So spend the extra money to purchase that anti-theft bag or backpack. It'll give you so much peace of mind. I've never been a victim of having my bag stolen or pickpocketed. Pickpockets and thieves, they are smart. They often work in groups, and they're going to select from the easiest target. So don't make yourself one. Another safety item that's going to protect you, and I bring it on all my trips, is a portable door lock. This is the one I take with me. It's small, relatively inexpensive, and works easily on most hotel rooms and Airbnb doors. It can literally save your life. Now, I've got another video that dives really deep into safety gadgets for solo travelers. You might be interested in watching it as well, so I'll link it in the description below, along with the money belt, the purse, and the door lock that I use when I'm traveling. The second travel safety question I get is, what do I do if I get sick or injured when I'm traveling? Now, as I've gotten older, I do worry about this one a bit more than I did when I first started solo traveling, which was years ago. The thought of a health emergency happening to me when I'm far away from home really worries me now that I'm over 50. But let's face it, we could all get a serious illness, a minor injury, or just a nasty bug when we're on a trip. And the thought of that is stressful and concerning. The answer is to take steps before your trip. Start by researching the local healthcare options in the area that you're going to be in. For example, we know what the emergency numbers are in the United States and where to go if we get sick, like a minor emergency center. But in a foreign country, it's not the same, and it's going to be different for each country you visit. Spend a little time making sure you know what you're going to do if this were to happen on your trip. I find out the local emergency numbers where I'm going to be staying, and I put those in my cell phone. For instance, I make a contact for Italian emergency number or Italian police, etc. So basically, know before you go. To be honest, this safety concern is one reason I'm more prone now to staying in a hotel at this age versus an Airbnb, because I like the fact that there's a front desk person that I could go to should I need some help. Also, prepare ahead of time the prescription medication you're going to need, along with Tylenol, ibuprofen, maybe bring a vitamin powder pack to mix in with your water, an antacid, and a mini first aid kit. I always seem to need a Band-Aid when I'm traveling from all the walking that I tend to do. So if I have one with me, it's just so much easier. A major protection for you, and it's going to give you peace of mind and alleviate some of those fears if you get sick or injured while you're on your trip, is to purchase travel health insurance. Hospitals overseas typically require payment upfront for emergency care. Experiencing a medical emergency when you're far away from home, that can be really devastating and expensive. Travel insurance can pay for necessary medical evacuation, your medical treatment, and even your transportation back home. I'll link some options for travel health insurance below in the description for you. All right, moving on to question number 3. How do I stay safe from a natural disaster on my trip? Granted, this one doesn't seem like it would happen very often, but it is a fear that some people have when traveling, so let's address it. Thankfully, I have not gotten caught in a natural disaster on any of my trips, although I did experience a really scary storm with torrential rain and flash flooding once when I was in the Caribbean islands on a bus going back to my hotel. It was very stressful and scary. So the first way to stay safe from a natural disaster is to avoid traveling to areas prone to earthquakes, hurricanes, or wildfires during those high-risk times. You know, we live in a world where we have hurricane seasons and wildfire seasons, times of year when these disasters are more likely. So pay attention to those. Plan your travel to those destinations when the risk is the lowest. If you're a United States citizen in a foreign country and a natural disaster occurs, you can contact the nearest U.S. Embassy or consulate for assistance. So get their number ahead of time, program it into your phone. To go along with concerns about adverse weather, remember to pay attention to the emergency exits at your lodging. I know this also may seem a little silly, but it's easy to overlook and makes a real difference if an emergency does occur. So spend just a little time familiarizing yourself with this information when you first arrive. And also stay informed about local weather conditions by using a weather app on your phone. Question number 4. What if I don't understand the culture and the customs of the country I'm visiting? While a cultural faux pas can be awkward at best, it could land you in serious trouble at worst. Following the rules in a foreign country is no joke. Remember, you're a visitor in someone else's world, and a little effort learning the rules and the customs goes a long way. Have you ever seen the show Locked Up Abroad? Yeah, no thanks. Did you know that many prescriptions and even over-the-counter medications are illegal in various countries? For example, Ambien is illegal in Nigeria and Singapore. In Japan and Greece, Sudafed and Vicks are illegal. You should also avoid wearing camo in certain countries, such as Antigua, Barbados, Grenada, Jamaica, and St. Lucia. They all have strict laws prohibiting the wearing of camouflage clothing. Also, be respectful of the photography bans that are posted. Many countries forbid taking photographs of government buildings, police and military activity, and checkpoints. So research the legal restrictions and the cultural considerations before you visit a country. Oh, and while we're talking about it, vaping products are banned in Thailand, and Singapore has a ban on gum. The last safety question I want to talk about is an important one that many solo travelers have, and that is, how do I make sure someone knows I'm okay? Many solo travelers have a fear of something happening to us on a trip and no one finding out for days or weeks. TV and movies play into this fear that somehow we will just go missing. Fortunately, there is an answer, and that is to stay in touch. As a solo traveler, it's kind of easy to get lost in your adventure, but staying safe in this modern world means having a check-in schedule with someone that you trust. This should be done based on your travel habits, and what works for you may not work for me. So this is going to be different for each person, but have a set schedule of when you will check in with your trusted person, and also have a plan for them to follow if you fail to check in when you're supposed to. Obviously, they should have your travel information, such as your flight info, your contact numbers for your hotels, and a basic itinerary. Share your location with them on your phone also, if possible. Thankfully, we live in a technologically advanced world, so this can be easy to do, but it's important to hold yourself accountable to actually doing it. Also, make sure to take advantage of in-app safety features when you're taking an Uber or a Lyft. Okay, so I've talked about 5 critical things that you need to address to make sure that you're going to be safe on your solo travels. From protecting yourself and your belongings, dealing with sickness or injury in a foreign country, staying safe from a natural disaster, avoiding getting arrested or detained, and making sure someone knows where you are and that you're okay. Safety concerns are a normal part of travel, but they shouldn't stop you from embracing solo travel and having a wonderful time on your trip. Preparing ahead of time for potential issues can help you overcome your fears. Buying the right travel safety gadgets for your trip can reduce your risk of becoming a target. Purchasing travel health insurance, having emergency numbers programmed into your phone, and traveling at times when there is a low risk for natural disasters, those are all things that are under your control. I hope you found this information helpful. If you're looking for more travel tips or you want to just dive deeper into some of these topics I've discussed in this video, I've got lots of videos for you to check out on my channel. Oh, and if you've got a safety question I didn't address, please drop it in the comments below. I love connecting with you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and safe travels.